Hello and welcome to NJBIZ Conversations. I'm your host, Jeff Kanige. My guests today are the co-founders of Orcosa, which is a Ewing-based company that develops therapeutic delivery systems. Vincent Mileto is co-founder and chief operating officer. Bryan Ridall is the CEO and co-founder. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me today. I told you I was going to have a hard time getting all those names out, but I did it. So
that's all right. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for taking the time. Okay. I mentioned what your company does. I'm sure that I oversimplified it. My understanding is you're known mostly for a product called Rapid Infusion Technology, or the RITe Platform. Am I pronouncing that right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is a way of taking medicines orally that essentially helps during which the tablets dissolve quickly. As I said, I'm sure that's a simplistic view of it. Can you give us a description of what you do and what the RITe Platform is and how that represents an advance?
Sure. On the tech side, I'll take this one.
Okay.
The way people take medications is kind of antiquated, we always felt. Oral, taking them orally, you swallow, you're looking at gastric absorption, all sorts of issues accompany that, right? So food effect, did you eat a big meal? Was your meal fatty? That can have impacts on how drugs are absorbed in the body. Things like first pass metabolism. Anything you swallow, its first stop is your liver, right? First pass hepatic metabolism. We were looking at ways to try to not only improve patient compliance, which things like orally disintegrating tablets have existed for decades, and they're meant to increase patient compliance, but they're meant to dissolve in the mouth, swallow the drug, and have the drug still absorb through traditional means, the gastric tract.
Right.
And then there's things like buccal tablets, right, where you place a tablet in the buccal pocket of your cheek. They can sit there for hours, right? 6 to 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
They generally have an adhesive layer that keeps them in place. And that allows the drug to slowly absorb through the buccal pocket in the cheek, through the oral mucosa, which is where Orcosa came from.
Okay.
Improve how drugs are absorbed. So to bypass first pass hepatic metabolism, bypass food effect. We look to try to come up with a new way to deliver medication orally that kind of was a marriage of those two technologies. And what we ended up doing is creating an orally disintegrating tablet that is not compressed. So we don't use any kind of tablet compression.
Okay.
It disintegrates extremely rapidly in under 5 seconds when placed in buccal pocket of the cheek. So in under 5 seconds, you don't even know there was a tablet there. But what it does is it creates a very thin adhesive layer that includes the drug, the API, and different types of penetration enhancers that allow the drug to absorb through the oral mucosa, go directly into the bloodstream, bypassing first pass metabolism, allowing us to not only increase patient compliance, but also to potentially increase the safety profile of drugs. We can generally deliver drugs in a lower dose than they would if they were taken orally traditionally, and also to increase things like bioavailability and all sorts of nuances like that.
Okay, well, there are a couple things going on there I want to talk about. First of all, you mentioned patient compliance a couple of times. How does this work for that? Because I take a lot of prescriptions, and it's patient compliance sounds to me like you got to make sure they take their medicine, right? Okay, so it's not that difficult to take pills to just pop a pill and take a glass of water. What is it about this that increases patient compliance? What was the problem that you saw there?
So I think the two areas that when it comes to oral delivery, there are a lot of people in the world who are dysphasic and can't swallow pills.
Oh, okay. All right.
Right. So, or have ailments that reduce oral motility, right? So make it more difficult for them to take medications. The target area for our lead product, we're targeting pain, but we're utilizing a molecule that's already an FDA-approved drug, but that drug is delivered in an oral tincture, right? So children have to swallow large doses of an API and a sesame oil, causes a lot of gastric problems. And also a lot of drugs nowadays, GLP-1s, they're looking to deliver, again, through injection. People don't want to take injections if they can avoid it, right? I'd much rather have something that disintegrated in my mouth in a few seconds, then have to inject myself once a week. So those are kind of the areas that we're targeting. So we're not looking to just, go after any medication but we're looking to target APIs that could, do well with increased bioavailability or lower dose, target populations that have problems with dysphagia or oral motility issues with taking drugs, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to add on to that, there's one population in particular that we're very interested in, which is children. And so I have 2 young children, just about to be 2 and 5, and trying to get medication into them is like trying to dose an alley cat. And so you pretty much have to use these oral suspensions that they fight, they can push out of their mouth. And then as a parent, you're not sure if they got the amount of medicine, if it's going to work, you have to wait hours, and it can be very, very difficult, very stressful for everybody. So having a little tablet that you can just get in there that, is almost like a treat to them, that just disintegrates very quickly, they can't reject it, is pretty useful as a parent of young children.
Okay. And was that sort of the origin story, that those kinds of things, those kinds of experiences? Or, if I don't want to put words in your mouth, what sort of set you down this road? Was there some sort of epiphany you had, or was there some incident? What made you think of this?
Yeah, that's part of it. Yeah, Vinny, I can take this one if you want. Yeah, that's part of it. I mean, we had lots of experience. Vinny comes from contract manufacturing world, so he's worked with every single type of delivery, technology and drug technology that you can imagine. I had come from a company that was looking to improve drug delivery for animals, and so I don't know if you've ever had to dose a horse or
that was going to be my next question. So, but go ahead.
Great. No, that's great. Yeah. Dosing, large or even small animals is also very challenging. And so looking to make it safer for the animal and the administrator. And what we found was that those technologies that sort of existed off the shelf couldn't accomplish what we wanted to accomplish. And so, we had kind of got attached to this idea. And then, having some personal stories, my wife's mother tragically passed from oral cancer. She could not swallow medication in the last phases of her life, when she was in a lot of pain and really needed them. And so, we saw that, they're not just these big markets, but they're these big unmet needs and people who can really benefit from new technologies. And the more we kind of dug into it, the bigger the opportunity sort of, started to become between dysphagic populations, geriatric, pediatric, psychiatric, countries around the world that don't have easy access to potable water like we do here. There's just a lot of opportunities to help people, and so that's kind of how we kind of got hooked onto the idea and kept going with it.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And in terms of the veterinary application, yes, I mean, we just went through a period where we had to give our dog an antibiotic, and we had to roll it up in peanut butter to get her to swallow it. This would be a game changer.
Yeah. It's great. It's absolutely great. It's fantastic for dogs. We've dosed dogs in non-clinical trials here at the company. They like the tablets. It works very well, and so
it doesn't take that long either. I mean, you put it and it's done. They don't have to worry.
Yeah, the tablet itself is only about the size of a US dime. It's maybe the size of 2 dimes stacked together as far as thickness. So it's almost imperceptible when you place it in either a child or an animal's oral pocket. And it disintegrates so rapidly that it doesn't allow for the medication to be rejected by really anyone, right? It's almost instantaneous how quickly it starts to break down and really adhere to that oral lining.
Okay, interesting. All right, and is there could this be potentially applied to any sort of medication, or are there sort of limits in the kinds of compounds or chemical makeups that
yeah, I mean, we need to generally look at compounds on a case-by-case basis, but we have already formulated well over a dozen compounds. The other unique thing about us for a company our size is that we do everything in-house. So we do not contract out any manufacturing. We have a full CGMP laboratory here outside Princeton in Ewing, New Jersey. We have a full scientific and engineering staff on site. We do all the research and development and clinical supply in-house in our own shop. And we have IP on this. We had our first patent issued back in 2023. We just got notice of allowance on our second, and we have about another dozen on file.
Okay. Interesting. All right. So, so okay, that was sort of where I was going to go next. Was A, what are the next steps in terms of how you're going to do this, and what's the status of the technology now? It's my just from what I've been able to read, you're still basically in trials, so it's not widely available yet. Where are you in that sort of continuum?
Yeah, I can jump on that one. So we, as you mentioned, we are in clinical trials right now, and our lead product is working its way through the FDA process.
Is
And
that Orovex? Is that the painkiller? Yeah. Okay.
correct. Yeah, yeah. That's exactly right. That's the name we use for the project. And so it is, you know, it's not available to the public yet. But with some luck and a lot of hard work, we hope to have that, you know, available to the public in the next few years. And then we're working to build out a suite of products that are complementary to that you know, improve the safety and efficacy of existing drugs, and hopefully those will be widely available in the next few years as well.
Okay. All right. Well, I was going to then ask about the size of the potential market. It sounds like it's almost unlimited. I mean, if you're talking about both humans and veterinary, I'm imagining you're envisioning a fairly large market here.
Yeah, it's absolutely, yeah, no doubt about it. The first product would look at would be an analgesic product, so
Okay.
target the pain market, which is, you know, $10 billion plus in the US annually. And then as you mentioned, having so many applications on a product by product basis, it adds up very quickly. But no doubt about it, it's the sky's the limit.
Okay, interesting.
Mhm.
All right, now, and what about the business itself? I mean, have you've gotten funds, venture funds? I'm guessing. Where are you now in terms of the trajectory of where you see the business going? The business itself as a business,
Yeah.
rather than as a scientific endeavor, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, understood. Yeah, so we've just actually closed our Series A round,
Okay.
and so we've raised about $30 million to date to build the technology, get into clinical trials, you know, receive issued patents and so forth. And so we're you know, we have a partnership in place, an initial partnership for one drug, and we're looking at additional partnerships for other drugs as well. And so, you know, as a business, our goal is to develop these innovative products that can provide benefits to patients, seek strategic partners who can help us accelerate their path to market, and then hopefully, you know, do good by doing what, or do well by doing good is our hope for the next few years.
Okay. Now, Bryan, I met you at the BioNJ Bio Partnering Conference. I'm curious what you both think of thought of those kinds of things, and how useful they are in terms of doing what you're doing. First of all, let me ask that those kinds of events. You talked about looking for strategic partners. Are those events helpful for you in doing those kinds of things?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think we made some good connections. Vinny had the hard job. He had to present at the conference. I got to just walk around and schmooze and eat and drink, and it was a lovely day for me. But I thought it was a great event. I thought probably the coolest thing was getting to see what the other small companies are up to. Because I think that's just, you know, I think the sort of foundation of, especially New Jersey in general, just having such a vibrant life science scene, seeing what all the other you know, innovators are doing and how we're building this, you know, sort of from the ground up. I thought was very cool to kind of see what's coming around the corner, and a lot of great companies presenting.
Okay. And BioNJ, the organization itself, are you involved with them? Do you find that that they're useful to you?
We're new to BioNJ.
Okay.
So far, I think it's been very useful. But Vincent, I don't know if you feel differently, but I think it's been great relationship so far.
Yeah, absolutely. We just met them actually and the NJEDA pretty recently, earlier this year. So we had met them and gotten introduced to them through JPM, who I know is a host for the BioNJ conference.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we've kind of been building our relationship with them kind of fast and furious. We've hosted a few of the NJEDA people here at our facility, given them a tour. You know, when they came to see us, they were like, "Oh, BioNJ, you know, applications are closing in a few weeks." So we quickly rushed and tried to get an application in order to be able to present, and we were accepted, and it's been very exciting.
Okay. Well, given that you're saying that you're doing everything in-house, I imagine the Economic Development Authority was pretty excited to meet you guys, yes? I mean, because this is right up their alley. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
They'd love to hear all this kind of
and
stuff.
you know, we're looking to do to support New Jersey, we're looking to bring manufacturing, especially pharmaceutical manufacturing, here in the U.S. We pretty much have an almost completely onshore supply chain for our entire process. All of our equipment is manufactured in the U.S., custom for us. So we're really kind of trying to bolster kind of our footprint here in New Jersey, and it's been good to us so far.
Okay, well, sounds like that was going to be my question, was how it is doing business in New Jersey. It sounds like you're here to stay.
Yeah, it's been well. I think we're here to stay. We have a really good relationship with Ewing Township as well.
Okay.
We've hosted the mayor here as well. We use our facility for events for the township sometimes. I sit on the mayor's emergency management committee. Excuse me. So we're very ingrained kind of in our local politics and our local township, and just trying to have a better presence here in New Jersey, not only for us but for the community as well.
All right. Well, again, that's going to be music to the ears to all the boosters, the state's boosters. So finally, before I let you go, what do you think? What can we expect? Is there anything on the horizon? Any announcements that we can expect? Or what's the next thing we should be looking for from your company?
Yeah, well, so we're moving through the FDA process,
Okay.
and hopefully you'll hear some big news from us we'll call it in the next 6 to 12 months, and start to become more of a household name, certainly here in New Jersey.
Okay. Well, I hope you come back when you do have some news for us, and let us know how that's going.
Absolutely, we'll come give you the scoop.
Okay, Bryan Ridall and Vincent Mileto, co-founders of Orcosa. Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Jeffrey.
Thank you, Jeff.
Have a great day.
And thank you all for watching. Until next time, stay safe.